For those who do not know, a tariff is a tax that's imposed by the country. Like, for example, the United States is about to impose a tariff tax that every time you import something, like say I buy a computer from China or Mexico or wherever, I will have to pay a tax to the US government on top of the purchase of that item based on a percentage of that purchase. So basically it's a massive tax hike on the consumer side. I don't want to get too political and try to, talk about whether or not a tariff is a good idea or not, even though we have historical data to show that it is not a good idea. But this is the reality that we are moving into. We are moving into an administration that really wants to lean on those tariffs. So there's a very good chance, more likely than not, that this is going to be our new reality moving forward. Let's discuss. Whether we like it or not, the tariff situation is coming. Especially if you live in the United States, this is going to be a big problem when it comes to purchasing tech hardware, as we really don't make any tech hardware in the United States. Processors are overseas, our soldering and building and deployment of motherboards and things like that are often done overseas. Literally the only thing that America kind of seems to be the leader in a lot of spaces is the software part of computing. We've, realistically, if you think about it though, computing is a global project. Computing is done by the world over, and every country kind of gave a little piece to the puzzle, and the tariffs kind of throw a wrench in all that. So I guess the big question is, what can you do to mitigate any struggles you have acquiring hardware after the tariffs kick in? Well, the first option you have is don't buy hardware. That's probably the easiest, and realistically for a lot of people, just holding on to your equipment for a few years is not going to be a problem. My phone is about 3 years old. My desktop computer is about 3 years old. My laptop is pushing 8 years old. All of them work perfectly. I don't need, or at least I don't see a need to upgrade any of that for a few years. And that's one way you can definitely avoid dealing with the tariff problem. But again, people often need new hardware. But I guess that's part two. It doesn't need to be new. It needs to be new to you. So, for example, my 8-year-old laptop still chugging along. But if I decide that I need to upgrade it, that doesn't necessarily mean I need to buy a 2025 model. I can go from a 2018 model. Wait, yes, let's do the math here. Okay, 7-year-old, my 7-year-old laptop. All right. But I digress. I could always go out and buy someone else's well taken care of 2023 model of a laptop. And the chances are, because it's already in the States, I avoid the tariff problem that way. And I guess the third option you have is to just bite the bullet. And some people may be in that situation where they need to have the hardware new and they need to have it modern. As important as those people are, I think that's mostly relegated to businesses. And I'm hoping for small independent businesses, they can get along with the older hardware. But for larger corporations, unfortunately, that's going to be something they're going to have to bite. I know a lot of companies with high security, they can't buy used hardware for security reasons. They're going to have to bite that bullet. For me, my solution mostly is I'm going to either not be upgrading things until hopefully the tariff situation calms down, or if I do buy, I'm going to buy used, which I've traditionally always done because I feel like it's a much better value. Well, I'll end on this question for you. Moving forward, with or without my advice of buying used, what do you think your plan is for any hardware needs if these tariffs do go into effect and you live in the States and it affects you. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to hear what your guys' plan is. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, or you can always subscribe. And until next time,